Good morning, Mike's Diabetes World. Don't know why I have my glasses up. And I apologize for the last vlog. I just got a phone call from a nurse, and she was all, oh no, you can't do that, and oh no. So, who knows? Anyway, today I want to discuss being more positive. You've got to positively know that you can gain control. There's always something that's done right. Now, I've heard a lot, and I've been in the hospital a lot, and in there I've heard, well, my doctor doesn't know anything, and my doctor can't do this, and my doctor can't do that. Well, being a diabetic isn't all about your doctor. It's also a lot about you. And you've got to take control, on yourself. And before calling him saying, oh, I'm out of control, oh, I've got a high blood sugar. Well, have you done anything to help that? Have you done everything in your control? Have you been testing more regularly? Have you been using your correction values correctly? Now, I know one thing that totally annoys the doctors. If I go into emergency and I've been unconscious, so are you not feeling well? I said, I don't know why this happens. And it's sort of like they expect me to say, oh, I took too much insulin. And, oh, okay, well, you can go home now. There's a lot of questions that they have, and I know, but it's, for me, I don't end up in there because it's something I've done. If it was that the case, I don't think I'd be doing it this long. You know, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you did something wrong. I know if I've had a severe low because I misjudged my insulin, or I ate too much and didn't correct, or overcorrected, I guess it should be, I let people know. It's not that such a big thing. Well, they may discuss it with you. People
don't want to admit when they've done something wrong, especially with their diabetes. When you're diagnosed, your doctor gives you a dose and then will expect you to live by it. And when you've made an error and you've learned the consequences, well, that's a big part of it right there. As soon as you're able to think after a severe low, what happened? Why did it end up like this way? Now, when I made up my own book, I wrote a rationale, and that every day I could write down, oh, I did something, or something was out of miss, or I was sick, or why I got the blood sugars I got. Didn't mean it was correct, but I can remember once I went in and my blood sugars were way out of whack. And a doctor looked at me while I was lying on the stretcher in emergency and said, well, why did this happen? And I said, well, I think I might have been eating a bit too much for the last couple of days. Well, that wasn't the reason at all. I was actually very sick. It was pneumonia. But knowing yourself and knowing why things are happening is something that could help your doctors so much. A lot of people are under the impression that the doctors know everything about your diabetes care, and that could be the farthest thing from the truth. Your doctors may know a lot about diabetes itself, but do they know how it affects you? You need to be able to justify why something happened and take the learnings from it. Oh, well, they found me out I was eating too much. Oh, well, I think, I'll have to find a different way to play around with it. Playing around with your medication so that you can go out and have a whole bunch of meals and take that increased dose every day so you can have more food every single day is not a balanced option. However, giving yourself more insulin because you wanted a treat, or you found that you're a little high most of the time, that's acceptable. But not when you're already high and you're just eating for the sake of eating. Oh, I pass by a bakery every day and I love to get a cream puff. Well, that is not healthy for you. I said it before and I'll keep saying it, you have to take control of your life, your diabetes life, and your regular life too, I guess. But don't say, oh, well, it's my doctor's fault because I never did this, and it's my doctor's fault because this never happened. Well, you know what? That's not always the case. You need to get out there and do something about it. a lot of times you may need to research. You can sometimes come up with a plan that'll work better for you. Now, I'm not saying just go out and do it. I'm saying get feedback. Don't be so concerned that, oh, my doctor's gonna think less of me. Oh, not the case. You could just simply say, okay, I screwed up. And you both can agree this is a learning. Or he said, well, I don't think you grasp the severity or the information I gave you, so let's review it. He's not going to throw you in a dungeon, pull out the whip, and flog you for... You're also human, and you can make mistakes. Now, sometimes, especially with teenagers growing up, you can, how do I put this, just have a growth spurt and your blood sugars are super high, especially if you're type 1 diabetic. And there's no reason or rhyme. You haven't done anything. Your body's just decided that it needs more insulin. I can remember I thought I had really failed my doctor. This was back years and years ago when I was a teenager. And that I ended up with a high, and he said, well, we need to change some, here, try this amount of insulin and everything. And I thought, well, what have I done? And sometimes my parents would say, you ended up in the hospital again. What did you do? I don't know. So I've told this other story before, and I just got a brand new typewriter, and my blood sugar book had fallen apart. Back then it was the ones you could get from and it was ones that, you hand out, or they hand out at drugstores. And we have to think, I thought that, oh well, I'm off in the left field today, that we could I'll type it all up, because there were pages missing, there were messes, and when I showed up at the doctor, he gave me hell for just making up blood sugars. Well, I still wasn't great, and the blood sugars probably did look a little out in left field. But I don't know. I should have taken those sheets in. So, excuse me, the smoke here is going. What I'm trying to say today is, if you make a mistake, even if the consequences have been severe, admit to it and take away a little bit of learning from it. Know what not to do again. Unfortunately, a lot of times, that's what has to happen. After you get diagnosed, you keep trying to do things and a little bit of a time. So, think about that. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.